All right, guys, so, a lot of times we're showing you guys kind of the end result. So a lot of times when we're showing you guys these videos and you're looking at our content, you see the end result, right? You're seeing the deal once it's closed. You're seeing us at the title company when we're actually getting the money, getting wired to our bank account. But I don't think that really helps you guys. That just shows you that we're actually doing the business and we're being active. But I want to bring you guys a lot of value. Free 99, but it's going to be so valuable that it's going to help you guys be able to be successful in your real estate journey. So what I want to do is I want to change things up a little bit. So I want to come and just show you kind of the how, right? It's great. Hey, Lee, you're flipping these houses, you're getting these deals, you're making this money. That's great. But how are you doing it? A lot of that comes down to your education. It's going to come down to reading your books, going to YouTube University, having some great mentors behind you, or even watching this content. I want you guys to just be able to get this information. If you have more questions about what I'm sharing with you guys, make sure you shoot some comments down below so I can create more content for you guys to help you in your real estate journey. Kind of getting started in this business as a real estate investor, the number one thing that I can say is your education. How educated you are, how serious are you taking this business so that you can truly be an expert in this field. And that's really what it comes down to, because when you're talking with sellers, they can sense a from a mile away. And so when you actually can answer questions very eloquently, it's going to give you that credibility that's needed in this market when there's so many people coming in and out of this market. So we're going to start with a term that you guys may or may not have heard of when figuring out how do we make our offers, right? We have different ways of calculating our offers, but the simplest way that's going to help you guys, especially getting started, it's a formula that you guys may have heard of a lot going to your local meetups, going to YouTube University, and it's called 70% of ARV. And I want to break down to you guys a little bit more about why this formula is so important and how it even came about. So 70% of ARV is basically what investors are willing to buy a property at where they can still be profitable. So you can kind of know, okay, if I'm going to wholesale this property, that means if I know what they're buying at, I now have an idea of what I need to be contracting the property at so I can make my wholesale fee in between. Right? Because if you know what your buyers are buying at, your profit is made up the difference between what they're buying at and what you get it under contract for. So I'm going to run you guys through an example of what these numbers actually look like. So ARV actually stands for after repair value. What that means is, what is this property worth after we make the necessary repairs to it? Once we put this investment into the property, what do we project or expect this property to be worth? And that's what we call the after repair value. And the easiest way to find this number for the after repair value is when you're running comps. And all you're looking for is, if you're in a specific neighborhood, all I want to do is, if I know that my property, my subject property is 1,500 square foot property, I want to look for other properties that are plus or minus 10% of 1,500 square feet in that subdivision and seeing, are there any of these properties that have recently been remodeled and what are they selling for? So if I see remodeled properties in this neighborhood that are selling for, our example is going to be for $300,000 that are actually fully remodeled, I can expect if I do the same or similar rehab to my property, I should expect it to also be able to sell for $300,000. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about after repair value. Now we're actually going to run the numbers, right? Now we're going to put it into a formula so we can figure out what can we actually offer for a property in this example, okay? So I'm going to use very, very simple numbers. So in this example, we're using an ARV of $300,000. We're expecting that the repairs that are going to be needed so that it's similar to the other properties that are selling for $300,000, it's going to take about $50,000 in repairs to get to similar condition of the remodeled properties. And that's the key. You've got to look at the type of remodel and the quality of remodel, and then you've got to figure out, okay, for me to get to this quality of remodel, it's probably gonna be a $40,000 or $50,000 rehab. Not gonna go too deep in that, but I wanna just keep this example simple. So we already have the repair budget of $50,000. And then what you guys are going to be using to make your offers, especially if you're assigning the contract or you're wholesaling it, you now have to bake in your wholesale fee. So we're just going to do 70% of ARV. So we're going to multiply that times our ARV of $300,000. Okay. And again, this is coming straight from here. All right. 70% of ARV, when we multiply those two together, that gives us $210,000. So this is our starting baseline in the formula. So 70% of 300,000 is $210,000, okay? Now what we have to bake in is, okay, now that we know 70% of ARV is $210,000, Now we're going to start getting down to what can we actually pay for this property in its current condition, knowing that it needs $50,000 in repairs. So we start with the top number, which is $210,000. Then we're going to reduce this number by the repairs that are needed for the property, okay? So now we're going to subtract $50,000 in repairs, and then we need to bake in. So this $50,000 in repairs is coming here. And now our wholesale fee, if we are signing this contract, I have a question mark here because it depends on what you get the property for. How much do you want to make? Let's say you want to make $15,000 assignment fee. Well, that means if my investors are paying this, I've got to be about $15,000 even lower so that I can make a $15,000 assignment fee. So now we're going to bake out $15,000 here, and then we're going to get to a grand total. So 210 minus 50,000, that'll give us 160,000, okay? And then when we subtract 15,000, 160 minus 15,000, now we're gonna be at $145,000. So a property with an ARV of $300,000 that needs $50,000 in repairs to be worth this once it's completed, and we wanna make at least a $15,000 assignment fee, that means our contract price, our offer price, needs to be at roughly ballpark $145,000. This 70% number changes depending on the market. Now, when properties were flying off the shelf, we were buying properties up to 80 and 82% of ARV and selling them at 90% of ARV because interest rates were super low. And when interest rates are super low, people can pay more. And the crazy thing is, sellers still think properties are still up here, but usually investors are ahead of the curve. We see things way ahead, months ahead of homeowners before they get caught on to what's going on in the market. So investors are always ahead and thinking ahead. Now, depending on how much you want to make is going to be how low you can get this contract price. Now, once you get this 145 number, this is now what we call your MAO, okay? I'm gonna write this out for you. This is your maximum allowable offer. So when you're making your offers, you never start with the maximum, right? You always start with a little bit lower so that you have room to negotiate. So when you make this offer to this seller, you're probably gonna start off somewhere between $120,000 and $135,000. It may hurt when they hear that number. They're thinking that you're lowballing, but it all comes down to how well you're explaining the reason why you have to be at that number. Because it doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it. When you can explain your position with education behind it so you can show the seller and be completely transparent on why you need to be at this number, sellers are gonna be a lot more accepting of that number and where you need to be at. So again, guys, just to go through this really quick, we've got 70% of ARV. Your ARV is your after repair value. We've already calculated at $300,000, $50,000 in repairs. And in this example, we're saying our wholesale fee will be $15,000. So 70% times 300,000 gives us 210,000. We subtract our repair estimate of 50,000, that gives us 160. And then we subtract the wholesale fee that we want to make. It depends on you. You put that number in and you know, hey, this is my maximum allowable offer for me to make at least $15,000 assignment fee on this deal. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Hope you learned something new today and that this is going to be able to help you in your real estate journey. So if you want to learn and get more information like this that's going to be a help you guys, make sure you hit that follow button, make sure you like, make sure you comment, because I want to hear any other questions that you guys have so I can tailor getting on this whiteboard, so I can tailor some of the education and things that's going to help you specifically in your real estate journey, guys. See you on the next one. Peace.